So this is kind of the meat and potatoes of, how we can work together. And so we acknowledge where we come from, right? So reconciliation, is about reflection, as an individual, as a professional, as a country. And so part of that work is also understanding how our values are similar and different. And so I just listed a couple there. You see on the left-hand side some common Indigenous values and some common mainstream, as we call it. And so in terms of leadership, as I mentioned earlier, we are kind of pushed and educated further we go in our education to take leadership roles. If you work to become a physician, or you're in the corporate sector or whatever, this is what drives us. Keep going, add your skills, learn more. It used to be great if you had an undergraduate degree. Well, that's nothing now. You have to do the graduate degree and so forth. And so that's great. And it's not that individualism and gifts are not recognized on the Indigenous side of things, but that there's also this strong collectiveness around success, sustainability, and achievement. So often an engagement then is how would this project benefit our community and not just the individual. And so you can see there, I won't go through them all, but this is an important aspect of developing a relational process with the people that you're working with. And I always start with trying to build those good fences, and then the work I find falls into place. So when you have a dialogue on, what are the common principles and values of this engagement process that I am bringing, to the table, this builds trust. So if you can articulate that you understand that there's variance in the value systems or in principles, that's going to go a long way. And the second kind of key one, of course, is the interconnectedness that is a central part of an Indigenous worldview. So, if oil drilling happens here, we're looking at how it's affecting women in pregnancy here. And the two are not seen as separate, just as an example. On the mainstream side, you see at the bottom there, faith and scientific control of nature. And so in health, this is an important mountain that we're all going to climb together. And that's like understanding that Indigenous science and our faith and how it's connected is just as much value as what we know as biomedical science. And so there's going to be a lot of interesting discussions with that one. And so I carry Murray Sinclair's, Senator Sinclair's message now. I heard him in Brantford a year and a half ago, and I heard him several times before that. I wasn't going to go, but I was glad I did, because there was a young woman who stood up in the audience and said, we are just inundated with calls these days, people wanting to help and wanting us to come to their meetings and so forth, and we just feel overwhelmed. How are we really supposed to implement these calls to action? And what he said, he paused, he was very thoughtful, and he said, this is our greatest challenge, it's the biggest mountain to climb. And he said, but everyone in this room, this is at the Brantford Arts Center there, Sanderson Center, he said, everyone in this room is a leader already. And he said, it's really not Indigenous peoples who are going to turn this around. It's that co-leadership, it's that collaboration, it's the leadership of others, because every one of you in your different areas of expertise and your experience, kind of lived experience, now has some leadership capability to bring to the table. How you do that makes a difference, but I think that kind of gives people permission, because I think we're in a place now where people are reluctant to speak out. They're going to say something that's going to offend someone. They don't even have the lexicon to really, to talk about Inuit issues, for example, and they're looking for, Indigenous faculty or other experts to come to the table. But so we're in definitely a period of transition, but I really hope that I leave that message today, that it's not just Indigenous peoples that are going to do this, and that, I look for many of you to become leaders in this area.